Good Lord, ride all the way.
A 10,
9,
8,
7,
6,
5,
4,
3,
2.
1.
Hi folks, my name is Eric Edelman and I'm so happy to welcome you here today to a very special show here on Slooh. And we're going to be taking a journey tonight across the stars, celebrating the Japanese Star Festival of Tanabata. Right now we're looking live at the Milky Way from the Slooh Observatories, a very important place to be looking when it comes to this special festival that we have here tonight, and you'll find out why very soon. So what objects exactly are we looking at here tonight? Well, one of them is Vega, which is a very special star also in terms of this story, known as Orihime, the weaving princess. And we also, we're looking at Vega actually live from the Slooh telescopes as well. This is the first stop we have on our journey across the Milky Way here tonight. This is a live image of Vega that we have. And beyond Vega, we're going to head over to a few different objects that we have across the Milky Way that will form our bridge between one star and another. We have M56, a globular cluster. We have an Emission nebula. We have an open star cluster. We have a lot of different objects that we're going to see here tonight. And after that, we're going to end our journey on the other side of the Milky Way at Altair, which represents Hikoboshi. And so to understand what this all means, we have to go into a little bit about what this festival is that we're celebrating here tonight, and that is Tanabata. And Tanabata has been around in Japan for a very long period of time, over a millennia. And Tanabata is celebrated about Vega and Altair, which stand for these two gods that we have in the sky that can meet once on a very special day, the 7th day of the 7th month. That is Tanabata. But maybe you might be asking yourself, well, this isn't the 7th day of the 7th month, is it? I mean, yeah, it's August here right now, right? Well, there's a little bit of a change between different calendars that we have. The Japanese lunar solar calendar is about a month later, or a month earlier actually, than the Gregorian calendar. And so then once the Gregorian calendar starts, there's about a month's difference there. And so that's why a month from the 7th day of the 7th month, as we're sort of familiar with it maybe in America, say, would be a little bit different from, say, when it is in Japan. But even that being said, there's a lot of international culture crossover that has occurred over the past hundreds of years, and now the Japanese do follow along with the Gregorian calendar a lot as well. So you'll actually find Tanabata festivals on different months in the year, some of them in July, some of them in August. And we're celebrating it on the day it would be if we were following precisely along with the Japanese lunar solar calendar here today. So that's where we're coming from with this one. But you can find different celebrations all the time. But really, as we're going to be talking about this festival today, we're really going to be taking a deeper journey into our own relationship with the stars. This is one story, this is one festival here that is an example of how widely celebrated our relationship with the cosmos can be. And there's a lot of different interpretations and a lot of different directions we can go with this. And I'm so glad that you joined us here with this journey, this intermixing of both culture, science, our sights, and our minds and our hearts. And so starting, yes, with Vega. But now there's going to be a lot of fun that we have here today. And later in the show, we're actually going to be talking to Masaki Hiramatsu of the National Astronomical Observatory of Japan, who will give us a little bit more of a first-person's perspective of what it's like to experience this festival of Tanabata. So if you have any questions for me or our esteemed guest here tonight, just send them to @Slooh on Twitter or use the Slooh chat box if you're watching this show live on slooh.com. There's going to be a chat box either to the right or beneath the show here, depending on what browser you're using. But we're so glad you could join us here today. So let's get started. First off, we're going to be sort of setting the stage here and talking about the actual myth behind these two stars. So we're seeing on our screen we have Vega, and that is the star Orihime, the weaving princess, and then we also have Altair, which is Hikoboshi. So how did these two stars meet? What is this reason that they can only see each other one day of the year? Let's figure it out. Mukashi, a long, long time ago, Tente, the emperor of the heavens, watched as his daughter, Orihime, the weaving princess, created gorgeously intricate clothing by the Amanogawa, or the heavenly river, or, as English speakers may know it, the Milky Way. Her craftsmanship was so beautiful that her father very much enjoyed watching and seeing the creations that she made each day. However, as he watched, he could tell that there was a sadness about his daughter. She was so busy with her weaving that she had no time for other matters. She had no time for love. To make her happy, Tente arranged a marriage between her and a sheep herder named Hikoboshi from the other side of the heavenly river. And so the characters Orihime and Hikoboshi are represented by these bright stars that we have. Vega that we see here on our screen, and Altair, which we'll find at the very end of our journey here tonight on this show. And in this story, they ended up being a wonderful match. Orihime and Hikoboshi fell deeply in love, growing so fond of each other that they spent nearly every waking moment together. However, their passionate feelings caused them to shirk their normal duties. Orihime stopped her weaving, and Hikoboshi let his cows carelessly wander all over the heavens. Tente soon saw that his kingdom was in disarray, and his daughter was no longer spending any time on her creations. So this actually made him pretty angry. Orihime was actually forbidden from seeing her lover Hikoboshi ever again. She was to remain on her side of the heavenly river, and Hikoboshi was to remain on his. Never again were they supposed to meet. But Orihime was so heartbroken by this decree that she met with her father again and begged him for a second chance. She asked for any opportunity, any chance to see Hikoboshi again. And Tente, loving his daughter as he did, finally did agree to this with a few conditions. If Orihime worked hard enough on her weaving throughout the year, he would allow her to meet Hikoboshi on one day and one day only, on the 7th day of the 7th month, Tanabata. And so it goes. On the very one special day in the year, Orihime and Hikoboshi crossed the heavenly river, the Milky Way, on a bridge made of magpies to meet and rejoice in each other's company. However, if it is raining on Tanabata, the magpies do not come and the lovers are not able to meet. So each year the heavenly bodies hope for clear skies for their journey. Are the skies clear where you are right now? If so, perhaps Orihime and Hikoboshi are sharing a meeting as we speak. But that is the general tale of Tanabata. It changes depending on who you talk to a little bit, but the main sort of points are there, even though the different cultures may tell it with different names in different ways. And Tanabata, it is celebrated really widely throughout Asia, and those celebrations vary depending on where you are. And to help me understand a little bit more about this holiday, how exactly it's celebrated, I wanted to welcome my guest tonight here, Masaki Hiramatsu of the National Astronomical Observatory of Japan. Masaki, welcome to the show. Thanks so much for joining me here tonight.
Hi, nice to see you.
It's really good to see you. And so maybe to start off, I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about how celebrations of Tanabata occur in Japan. Is there any sort of special way that things happen?
Yeah, I think the Tanabata is the most famous star festival in Japan. So every Japanese people know the story you told and try to watching the stars. So the most popular thing is writing their wish to a strip of paper and hang it on the bamboo grass. So originally the Orihime, the beggar, is a good weaver. So the ladies wish upon star to become a good weaver or become beautiful or become a good wife. So in current days, not only ladies but also boys wish, for example, good health, good score of school test, or success in life in general. And also some cities
point that they
and
wish for these
streets.
types of things. I actually heard that this festival was sort of based off of Kikoden, the festival to plead for skills. And is there a reason in particular that it's skills like weaving, getting a better grade on a test, that these sort of wishes are emphasized on this day?
Yeah, as you said, the original Japanese tradition mixed with Tanabata story come from China. So this is kind of original in Japan. And some, of course, as you told in your stories, the father wants their daughters to have a happy life and a good husband. So having a good skill in, for example, weaving is a very good provide very good chance to have a good husband. So this is the original, I think.
So yeah, it all ties back into that original story that we were going through. And you were mentioning also that this came from China. And do you know if there are differences in how this festival is celebrated in different parts of the world? Is there a different way that the Chinese celebrate this versus the Japanese way?
Yeah, especially in current days in China, this Tanabata is celebrated as something like Valentine's Day, so the day for lovers. Yeah, this is a bit different taste from Japanese Tanabata celebration. And also I heard that in Vietnam, there is also similar Tanabata celebrations.
Oh, wow. So it's spread throughout the world, and it really has a great hold, I think. That story is very wonderful. And so we're seeing on screen different examples here of celebrations that take place. And are there standard decorations that are used? Are there different costumes that people can wear, or particular things that you want to buy to celebrate Tanabata?
Yeah, the decoration is something like this. So the very colorful paper strips and several meters high decorations with so many, this kind of things. There's a ball at the top, and in the bottom there's a very long strip of papers. And this is a very typical celebration for Tanabata. For costume, I don't think there is a special one, but the traditional Japanese yukata, this is a summer version of kimono, I think. So this is very comfortable for this hot and humid season in Japan.
Yeah, I heard in Tokyo Disneyland, actually, that Mickey and Minnie Mouse celebrate by dressing up as Orihime and Hikoboshi or Altair and Viga every time. It's quite a lot of fun that we have. And
Yeah.
I wanted to thank you a lot for this initial segment that we did. But we would ask you to stick around just a bit more. We're actually going to be taking a quick commercial break, but we'll be right back right after that. And so coming up, we'll actually be rejoined by our guests to look at how our different cultures have looked up at the stars, a little bit more of going into those wishes. Also wanted to let you know we're continuing our journey live across the sky here tonight. This is the globular cluster M56 that we have live from the Slooh Observatories in the Canary Islands. We're mainly tracking across the northern hemisphere this time because this is where these stars and this portion of the Milky Way is visible to us during this time. And the M56, that's actually right in the constellation of Lyra. So we're starting our journey across the sky from Orihime to Hikoboshi. And after Lyra, we're going to go further and further across the Milky Way. We're going to go into the constellation of Vulpecula. I love the name of that constellation, by the way. Then we're going to go to Sagitta, and then finally we're going to end on Altair with Hikoboshi. But before we continue our journey here across the sky, I just wanted to let you know, to everyone tuning into the show here for the first time, if you're enjoying what you're seeing, I want to encourage you to become a member of the Slooh community. It's free to try, and there's absolutely no obligation. At its core, members control our robotic telescopes in the Canary Islands in Chile via a simple but powerful interface to see all that glows in space. In fact, Slooh members have taken well over 4 million photos of 50,000 different objects in the sky. We saw some fabulous live views of planet Mars and Saturn from the Chile Observatory last night. Slooh works like a jukebox. One member is in control of the telescope while all the other members get to see what the telescope is viewing live, while everyone contributes to an ongoing conversation. We always say it feels like cavemen and women gathered around the campfire. We wonder together about the universe and share our great diversity of perspectives. It really is space for everyone here, so please do give it a try, and in the process, you'll be supporting our ability to make programs like this available to the public. And on that note, there's also another object that we've just made our way to. This is the Emission Nebula NGC 6823. And so this is in the constellation of Vulpecula. And so we're getting further and further away from Vega and getting closer and closer to Altair. We've sort of reached the midway point here of our journey across the sky and the Milky Way and on Tanabata today on Slooh.com. So after this, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we'll be right back for more of the Tanabata festivities. Welcome back to Slooh's very special broadcast celebrating the Japanese festival of Tanabata. And welcome back to our guest, Masaki Hiramatsu of the National Astronomical Observatory of Japan. And so just to highlight really quickly what we've gone through so far here today, we've taken a journey across both myth and through space. We've seen what the story is behind Orihime and Hikoboshi, the two stars that are meeting in the sky for this very special night here. And also we're looking at different objects in our sky, seeing what there is in between these two stars in the Milky Way, NGC objects, different nebulae and globular clusters. And we're about halfway through these objects in our sky, and we're going to eventually reach Altair on the other side, having started with Vega. And we've been talking here to Masaki about the different trends in the culture that celebrates Tanabata and what the different things that happen. And I was wondering, Masaki, if I could ask you, so we've talked a little bit about what happens on the ground, but in terms of the relationship that Tanabata has to the night sky, is this a time when the Japanese people are a little bit more aware of the constellations, when stargazing is more of a thing that happens? Is there a big fuss made about particularly the stars, Vega and Altair, on this night?
Yes, many Japanese know that the story of Tanabata, so they want to see the Vega and Altair. But as you said, the original the Tanabata means the seventh day of seventh month. So in the current calendar, it's July 7th, but it's unfortunately the middle of rainy season in Japan. So our observatory recommend to celebrate in traditional lunar calendar. So this year it is August 9th. And the NRJ promote this day to have a chance to watch the stars. And also this is the middle of summer vacation. So the many families can go to the suburbs, our local site, a rural area. So they have many chance to watch the stars.
Oh yeah, and we're seeing actually a new object across our sky, NGC 6802. This is the open star cluster, which is also in Vulpecula that we have. And so we're now closer over to Altair than we are to Vega. We're getting closer and closer in our sky. And I appreciate that you mentioned the differences between the dates, the seventh day, the seventh month, that there's different times when this festival can actually occur, Tanabata. Do you find that by you there's a day that's more preferred than the other? Do you find that more happens in July or August or on a particular day?
In August, the weather is pretty good in Japan, so we have a larger chance to watch a good night sky. Yeah, and also we will soon have a pulsed meteor shower. So it's in this week or next week, there is a very good chance to become friendly with night sky.
Yeah, there's a lot of great stuff to see, particularly, yes, in the summer, also in the winter as well. But so Tanabata is this opportunity to maybe take in the night sky and remember the relationship that we have to the night sky. Do you find that there's other holidays or celebrations in Japan that bring us close to the night sky or encourage people to remember the stars?
I think the other chance is harvest moon or the mid-autumn full moon, usually in September. This is a kind of celebration of the harvest in autumn. So we prepare sticky rice balls and with this we watch the moon and thank the nature to give us a lot of crops and fruits.
And so we have a lot of different ways that we celebrate. And I think one thing that ties a lot of them together with meteor showers, with Tanabata, is this tradition of wishing. Wishing on a shooting star, tying these tanzaku to the bamboo trees. And so I was wondering if you had thoughts or ideas on why we make these wishes when it comes to the night sky, like why wishing is associated with festivals or celebrations of the stars.
I think the night sky or stars are very distant and we cannot touch, but still we always see the stars. So it's kind of very distant but very close to us. So we traditionally want to have some relationship between us and the celestial world. So this harvest moon and Tanabata and wishing upon shooting star is kind of a chance to touch the sky.
I think that's a beautiful sentiment. It's true. It's sort of bringing us closer to all of it. And do you find that maybe as people grow older or different generations, they make different types of wishes? Do you think that the younger generation will make different wishes on Tanabata than, say, the older generation will?
I think in Tanabata, in the younger generation wants to say, hey, I want to be a professional baseball player or something like that. So that they are wishing their own personal wish. But in elder person, say they wish the world a peaceful world, or happy life of their family. So they have a bit wider wish, not only for their personal one, but the families, their communities, or whole world. So I think that is a difference.
Yeah, the maturity comes with different wishes. And do you find, or do you know if the shooting stars, like the meteor showers, do people wish on shooting stars in Japan as well? It's quite a culture in America when we see a shooting star to make a wish. Is that a similar thing that happens in Japan as well?
Yes. And difficult thing in Japan. I don't know this is only in Japan or not, but people have to wish 3 times during one meteor. So it's very difficult. Yeah, but so many people try to call their wishes upon a star.
And we have also another object that we're looking at, a globular cluster, M71 from the Slooh Observatories. We're getting closer and closer to Altair at every moment, and this one is actually in the constellation of Sagitta, not to be confused with the constellation of Sagittarius. This is very much a dimmer constellation in the Summer Triangle and closer to the other side of the Milky Way over by Aquila. This is by Aquila and Altair, and this is sort of our last step before that final star, before that crossing over point. And this bridge that we have, these different objects that we're seeing in the night sky, they sort of are our magpies that we're having that sort of fly across this bridge of the Milky Way to let these lovers meet each other tonight. I was wondering, sort of as a follow-up to that sort of sentiment, do you know why magpies were used in this story, that why it's magpies that cause this or create this bridge for Orihime and Hikoboshi to meet each other tonight?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, an interesting question. And so one thing that will bring them close or keep them away is rain. Is it raining over by you today?
I'm sorry.
Oh, is it raining over by you today?
No.
The rainfall is in keeping the magpies away. Do you think that the magpies came over by you for Orihime and Hikoboshi?
I'm sorry, I cannot understand the word magpie.
Magpie. Oh,
Sorry.
the bird that created the bridge for Orihime and Hikoboshi. But another question I actually had was, so you seem to know a lot about Tanabata and the celebrations that have gone on here, and I'm wondering, is this in any way related to you going into astronomy professionally and making this your career, looking at the stars?
Not particular, but the original step I'm going to the astronomy or the watching star is my parents bought a book about this kind of stories of ancient Chinese, Japanese, and also European. So this is the original step to go into this world. So I like this kind of old stories and difference of cultural stories.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's wonderful to just have the opportunity to bring the night sky to everyone, and I think this is one of the things that these stories do is they make them really approachable for people in different places across the world and in different educational backgrounds, wherever they happen to be. They can enjoy this story and look up at the night sky and see all the different symbols that it can mean for different places across the world. And stars and wishes, as we've been talking about through this show here today, they really aren't unfamiliar friends. They're things that are really tied together in a lot of ways through Tanabata, through meteor showers. Wishes are strongly related to how we look up at the sky. During many of our meteor shower shows, we ask you to make a wish on those shooting stars flying across the screens. But one question maybe is, where in the world does this idea, where did it come from? And not a lot of people actually know where this wishing on a shooting star phenomenon, where it began. But people in most cultures, they actually do some form of it. And the Greek philosopher Ptolemy actually was one of the first people to write about the idea of wishing upon stars. And he believed that shooting stars happened because gods were opening up holes in the sky in order to look down on humans, so they were more open to wishes. That was one thing that he thought. And others in Greece at the time thought that the shooting stars were rising and falling human souls. So there were a lot of different ideas that happened absolutely all over the place. And this is a belief that also spread to the Jewish and Christian faiths. These days, actually, the idea of wishing on shooting stars is as widespread as the people on Earth, but the actual practice varies just as much as our varied cultures. In some places, simply making the wish is enough, provided that you don't tell anybody but what you wish for. But in other places, you have to pick up a stone or tie a knot, or like Masaki said, you have to say it 3 times before it disappears. And this is what you have to do in order to make the wish work. But we've actually reached our final image of the night, our final live view. This is Altair from Slooh. We've gone from Orihime and we've made it all the way to Hikoboshi across the Milky Way. And we hope that they've been able to meet here tonight to be able to celebrate their love here together. But Masaki, I was wondering if you had any final thoughts about this journey, about making wishes, or about the Festival of Tanabata, something that you might want to leave our viewers with here tonight.
Yeah, in the large cities, it's very difficult to see our very beautiful night sky, but still Vega and Altair is very bright. And so they give us a chance to think about the universe and think about the world we live. So it's very good to know about Tanabata and look at the sky. It's a very good chance.
Absolutely, yes. This is a great chance to just enjoy the universe for a little bit. So yeah, Masaki, thank you so much for joining us here tonight. It was so fun to talk to you about just the differences that we have across the world and how we all celebrate this night sky that we have here today. So yeah, thank you very much again.
Thank you very much.
And so, well, that actually just about wraps it up for us here on Slooh today. We've made our journey across the night sky. I mean, these objects are so stationary and they cross very vast distances across our cosmos. And they might be much further away from us than we can imagine, because this is 3-dimensional space. We're seeing them sort of on this 2D map as we look up at our night sky. But there's vast distances beyond that come into play. So we've just dipped our feet into the water of galactic exploration here, but I think it's been a really fascinating journey. We see so many objects occupy our sky on just this small sliver, this small bridge that we've made from Vega to Altair, and there's so much more to see. So I hope you tune into Slooh again for a different type of show. And before we go, I actually did want to tell you a little bit about a couple broadcasts that we have coming up here on Slooh. Tomorrow, actually, I'm going to be on for the weekly Down to Earth episode here on Slooh, talking about commercial space flight. If we wanted to go out into outer space, fly like we do, maybe across the country or in other ways, when is that going to happen? When is it going to be affordable? Where are we in terms of all that stuff? Tune into Down to Earth tomorrow to find that one out. And also on Thursday, starting at 8 p.m., it's time to grab a lawn chair and some bug spray because we're going on a stargazing adventure for the Perseids meteor shower. Perseids are a wonderful one. I put them up there with the Geminids as one of the best showers that you can get in the year. This time you're going to join Paul Cox to learn all about the meteor showers, how they're caused by comets, and to hear the daring adventures of the Greek hero Perseus, who lends his name to the shower, and the constellation from which it streams. So we'll have live views of the meteors from all around the world, from the Canary Islands to the United Kingdom and Canada, and it all starts on Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. So we do hope you tune in for that one. Same time this show started, so easy to remember. Then, next week, all eyes point to the moon as we team up with our friends at Celestron for a very special event. It's the LA Moonwalk at the Pasadena Civic Auditorium, starting at 7 p.m. Pacific time. That's 10 p.m. Eastern. And they'll have special guests from the Planetary Society, including Bill Nye and Robert Picardo, and the event will feature art and music along with telescope viewing and a silent auction. If you're there in the LA area, you can get tickets to the event by visiting lamoonwalk.com. But if you're not, don't worry. You can catch the live stream right here on Slooh. But thank you so much again for joining us here tonight. I hope you got a great dose of culture and astronomy. But this has been Eric Edelman, and thank you very much for joining us here on Slooh.com for Tanabata.